We're currently in the process of building this 160 square metre timber cabin for a family of 2, soon to be 3. In our previous video, we had some serious problems, including valley rafters not lining up and porch rafters sitting way higher than they should have been. And in this video, we're going to try and solve them.
But firstly, how did we even get it so wrong?
So when we started this build, we went off these. They are the between rafter pieces, which are eventually going to be used to block off the cladding from the inside of the building. They're 530 long, which means when you get a 70mm roof rafter either side of that, you end up with 600 on centre. Only problem being is, most of them are, in fact all of them are 600 on centre. But according to this new drawing, we're actually supposed to have a different spacing to begin with, which means we can't just undo a couple, we have to undo all of them. I could actually just live with it the way it is and just make it work, and it would mean offset rafters from one side of the building to the other, which you're not going to see, because by the time the internal ceiling goes on and you've got the roof tin sheets on, the only person that's ever going to know about it is you guys that have watched the video, myself, Ben, probably the customer, because he also watches the videos. But if you know me well enough, you'll know that I won't sleep, and it needs to be right. Even though you can't see it, the biggest part of this job is making sure you do it right from the very beginning to the very end, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take all of the rafters off that we've done already, all the nails out, painstakingly, with a hammer and a crowbar, and we're going to get it right, because that's what this channel's about. I love doing things right. It's going to be right. Hammer and crowbar.
And a pair of bolt cutters for the first one that didn't want to come out.
That's free.
I'm working my way from left to right, undoing all of the nails from the ties, ready to come back later and set them at the correct distances. That done, I moved on to the back, and the silver lining here is that only a handful of the back rafters were nailed before we realised something was wrong. So that didn't take long at all. Next up is the right hand side of the porch. This had the most ties to undo, which took absolutely ages. And while I took care of that, Ben finished up some of the building wrap that needed doing. With the last rafters finally undone, I breathed a sigh of relief that we'd done the hard part. There's more work to be done, so I loaded up with nails ready to re-nail the rafter ties according to the new drawing, which is something we've got to do by hand unfortunately, because we were only sent enough nail strips for the nail gun to put them in the once. This was a pretty rinse and repeat process after we'd set the first couple correctly, so I didn't film all of it, but you get the idea.
Right then, we are officially at the point where we should have been had the drawings been correct. We have unnailed and re-nailed all of them rafter ties by hand, because they only sent enough nails to do it the first time, and that is complete. Next on our list is we need to be sorting out this valley rafter, which actually sits higher than the rafters that come to it, and that's a bit of a problem. To address that, we need to lower this purlin, undoing more of the work that we've done. It's all fun. We're going to take that out, cut a notch in it, lower it by half a log, because this whole roof has been designed in software to be all sat on one level. And it's not all on one level, because this porch sits half a log higher than the rest of the building, as I said. More fun.
First thing we need to do is connect the 2 valley rafters and support them, so that we can start undoing the fixings for the purlin and get it moved out of the way. We can then mark out exactly how far down we want this to go, which in our case was 98mm. I'm cutting the groove out with the multi-tool, which made light work of it before knocking the pieces out we don't need with a hammer. We can now put the purlin back where it belongs and reassemble the pieces that go next to it. Which is where we noticed our next issue with the height of the valley rafter, which may mean more cutting, but first we need to be sure of where the valley rafter is actually meant to be.
There is still a lot of things that we are really unsure of. The only thing we do know right now and that we can work with is the fact that that rafter there is next up. So we're going to put them in and work our way along, and hopefully that gives us the position of where that valley rafter goes, and we can get it pretty close. And then we're going to have to cut that wall out, because as you can see, that's sitting too high and it needs to come lower. Next rafter.
Setting these will definitely give us more of a clue.
Right, so I think we've cracked it. So I've set up a string line from all the way over there to all the way over there, and we've managed to get this exactly where I think it needs to go. It's good at the bottom, it's good at the bottom over there. I think this is the best we're going to get it. The The only thing I would say is when it came to this purlin, when we lowered it, I think we lowered it just a little bit too much. It was sitting too high. It actually was sitting too high, but we've lowered it too much. So that's a bit of both parties to blame. So we're going to raise this back up because we've actually put a piece in there that's 70 mil, and that puts the valley rafters pretty good. So we'll raise that, get some more of these screwed on, and then I think we're there. We can move forward.
We're separating all of the porch rafters from the ones we need to work our way towards the valley, which is where things started to become much clearer. We then had to undo the porch purlin to raise it back up to the correct height, and I'm going to check it for level once more before screwing it back in for the final time.
Fingers and toes crossed, we get no more issues, and I think we're over it now. We've pre-nailed these rafters that go over the porch. We're going to do them until the light fades, and then we'll pick it up in the morning. More rafters, again.
We're going to get the first pair of rafters in, so at least we've chipped a little bit off of the task for tomorrow, although we are pretty much time-served rafter installers at this point, so this porch should be a breeze. But let's pick it up in the morning. Getting these last rafters in actually went without a hitch. It was pretty nice nailing in something fresh out of the box for once on this job. There was, however, one last little hurdle to get over before we crossed the finish line.
So when I said that I've got my fingers and my toes crossed, hoping that there's no more issues, we've already ran into another. And that is this wall is sitting a bit too high. Two choices. We can either notch out the rafter, big no-no, or we notch out this for each rafter, which I think is what we're going to do. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do. Because it's sitting too high here. It's lovely down there, that's fine. But here, we've got this going on. And I need that to be down there. So, more cutting. Handsaw, chisel.
I'm sure a few more cuts won't do any harm.
Lovely.
We put the last few small rafters in that meet the valley rafter, and that is that job ticked off the list.
Right, so we are almost ready for our membrane. Not quite, because we've got one more hurdle to get over, and it's these. Where these are sat, they sit higher than the rafters, as you can see. Now, that wouldn't normally be a problem because we've got these other laths going on top of here, so when it comes to the tin, it will not interfere with that at all. One thing it is going to interfere with, though, is the membrane. So when we come to put our membrane across, that's going on first on top of here next. And because of that, the membrane will be trying to sort of do that, which means we're not going to be able to get it tight, and it's going to just look all iggity-piggity, and I don't like that. Ben knows I don't like that. So I've already had a go. You can probably see here with an axe. I will clean that up because I thought that might be the quickest way. But the quickest way, I think, I haven't tried it yet, but Japanese tooth wood blade from Smart on the multi-tool, and then cut them off, and that should be the quickest way. If you can think of a better way, let me know in the comments, because I think this is going to be it. We'll do a couple, see how we get on. If we have to rethink it, we'll rethink it, but for now, multi-tool. Then membrane. Membrane, finally.
Now, if I'm honest, the multi-tool did the job really quickly until we were below the rafters, just like I needed. And I even came back and cleaned up that bit that I butchered with the axe.
And that is it, we're done. Rafter tyres, complete, connecting plates, everything's connected, nailed down, screwed, finished. The rafters are finished at long last. I can guarantee you that we have used, in fact, I'm not going to tell you, I am going to count them. I want you guys to guess exactly how many nails you think we have used to nail all these rafter tyres and connecting plates in. It's in the 1,000. Closest comment to the right number, I'll pin the comment. We are now ready for the membrane, and you're going to have to wait till next Thursday at 7. Don't forget to like the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next Thursday. How cool is that? anyway.
Twist. Not the way, you muppet.
How am I supposed to know? You said twist, I've done a 50-50. Seriously.
It was spoonfish.
How am I spoonfish?
You were
You said twist and I just picked one.